Hi, Nick.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
Good, man.
You know, a lot of times in these episodes we talk about what to do.
Yes, we do.
But today we gonna talk about
Don't do what not to do.
What you don't do.
Yeah.
Don't do. Don't do these 5 things with your money. So let's dive right into it.
Let's do it.
Number 1. Invest in things you don't understand. And remember, these are things not to do. So don't invest in things you don't understand. A lot of times people will say, particularly for me, the way this shows up is with Bitcoin. I personally don't really know that much about Bitcoin, so I'm not going to invest in something I do not understand. It just doesn't make logical sense. Anything you want to add to that?
I get the comment from students and recent graduates a lot. They're investing in Forex futures or options. And I'm like, how much research have you done on that topic? And most of the time, it's not very much. They just heard it's a good way to make money. So make sure you're not investing in things you don't understand. It's a Warren Buffettism, right? Warren Buffett won't invest in things he doesn't get.
Yep.
And so far, it's worked pretty well for him, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very
All right, next.
Number 2 thing to not do. Number 2, do not spend more than you make. You know, for me, through a period of time and, even as of recently too, what I find is so easy to spend money.
Yes.
And it's not always easy to make money.
That is true.
So one of the things to really be careful of is to not spend more than you make. I know it sounds very, very basic, but as with anything, I think there's really power in the foundations, right?
Totally.
How do you lose weight? You diet and exercise,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When it comes to money, things you don't do, don't spend more than you make.
You know what I heard this great saying, and I can't remember who told me this, but they said, it's easier to make it than it is to keep it, and it's easier to keep it than it is to grow it. But the key, honestly, is making it and keeping it.
Yeah.
That's the first 2 steps, right? Yeah. So don't spend more than you make. If you make $1, what is the most amount you can spend and still have money left over? You know?
What is the most that I can, kind of like a general rule of thumb?
If you made $1, what is the most amount you can spend and still have money left over?
And still have money left over?
Yep. If you make $1.
Yeah.
Maybe I should clearly articulate this. If you make $1, you can spend 99 cents and still have some money left over. But you can never spend more than $1 and not have money left over.
That is true.
I know math is hard. Number 3 in the things you should not do with your money. Number 3 is don't buy more house than you can afford. What I see people doing all the time, and particularly several years ago, 7, 8, 9 years ago, when the housing crisis happened, people were buying way more house than they could afford. And there was a thing called a liar's loan or a stated income, stated asset loan, which meant someone would try and buy this massive home on a very small salary, but they would inflate their salary and their assets to make it look like they could afford it.
Got it.
And it was a crazy time, which obviously crumbled our economy, but people were buying more house than they could afford. In effect, they were house rich and cash poor. Not a good way to be. If you were someone who's bought a house and you have rooms rooms that are completely empty and devoid of furniture, you may have bought more house than you can afford, right? So make sure that you're buying the entry-level home and scaling up that way.
Yep.
So don't buy more house than you can afford, very simply.
Awesome.
Number 4.
Number 4. Don't pay unnecessary fees.
The stupid tax.
Stupid tax. Yep. So what are some examples of unnecessary fees? You got
Overdraft.
overdraft fees. Don't do that.
Yeah. Late fee payments.
Late fees. Don't do that.
Right. Annual, like an annual membership fee if you're not using it.
Annual membership fee if you're not using it. Don't do that.
Yeah.
What else?
Let me think. Unnecessary APR, like an unnecessary percentage rate.
Yep.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. The big one on this is particularly NSF and around NSF fees, but it's going over limit on your credit card. Because as soon as you go over the limit, they charge you with a pretty hefty fee.
Yeah.
And then every single charge after that, they continue to charge a fee for it.
So they're not generous with that.
They are not generous.
Yeah. Another thing that actually came up for me, I had someone I was working with, she was using ClassPass, right? And she was 10 minutes late, so they charged her a fee. And she couldn't attend the class.
Oh my
Charged her
God.
$20. Yeah. That is an unnecessary fee.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So here's the recommendation. If you are paying unnecessary fees, figure out why you are. Are you making payments late? Are you overusing a credit card? Are you using something that, like a credit card that has an annual fee that doesn't need one? You can often call the credit card company and just ask for them to waive your fee, and they will simply because you asked. It might change your card terms a bit, but let's not pay unnecessary fees if we don't have to.
Don't do it.
Number 5, the things you are not to do with your money is don't sacrifice important things for things that are unimportant. And here's what we mean by that. Important things are things like retirement savings. Important things are maybe vacations you want to take 2 to 5 years from now. Maybe there are health issues that you need to take care of, right? Where the unimportant things are things like dining out all the time. And a great example of this is I talked to a young woman who said she was just not happy in life because she wanted to travel more. And I said, what is keeping you from traveling? And she told me the reason she's not traveling more is, well, she just bought a good-sized leather sofa at this furniture store and she was making monthly payments on it, so she couldn't afford to travel. And I said, well, it sounds to me like you're sacrificing important things, travel, for unimportant things, luxurious furniture that you can barely afford.
Literally sitting on a couch.
Yeah, right. I mean, can you imagine like sitting on a couch and hating your life? You're watching the Travel Channel, just like, this would be awesome.
Yeah.
If it weren't for this damn couch that I bought.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So again, don't do these 5 things with your money. Number 1, invest in things you don't understand. Don't do that. Number 2,
Spend more than you make.
don't do that. Number 3, don't buy more house that you can afford. It doesn't make sense. Don't do that.
Number 4, don't pay unnecessary fees.
Don't do that. And number 5, don't sacrifice important things for the things that are unimportant.
Like a Lambo.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Well, I could see maybe. No, I won't. It would be seriously used. I might get a used Lambo.
Really?
So maybe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe
Well,
not.
just make sure you don't spend more than you make.
I won't. And I
Okay.
probably won't buy more house than I can afford ever.
Okay, good.
So with that, I could probably do all those things.
Sounds good.
Here's a challenge to you. If you're doing any of these, stop doing
it.
them. Yeah,
Stop
stop. Particularly, which one? This one.
Mm-hmm.
We think paying unnecessary fees is one of those that you can stop pretty much on a dime, no pun intended, and save more of your money. So hopefully you enjoyed the advice, and we will see you next time.